Hey everybody, it's Paula here again to show you this week's card that we've made. This is a Slimline card, so it's quite a long one and it's a bit thinner than the other cards that we normally do. They seem to be very popular at the moment, so I thought we'd give one a try. The die I've used on the background here is actually a Slimline die from Uniquely Creative, and it's called the Slim Gum Leaves, and it's just beautiful. It's got this gorgeous background, it's got this gorgeous cutout feel to it, and you can put anything on the background. You can cut it out of coloured paper or cardstock. It's just a really neat background for a Slimline die. So there's the inside of our Slimline card, so it pops out to a Z-fold. So this is the Slimline Z-fold card that we've done this week in class. So I will get on to show you how to do it. So first of all, I've cut a piece of cardstock that measures 8.5 by 8, and then I've scored down the middle at 4 inches. So the 8-inch side is along the top here. The 8.25 is the long way, this way. So I've just come in 4 inches and I've scored down the middle, and that gives you your Slimline card. So that's your card base. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've cut out this die. So as you can see, it's a beautiful die, and you can put this on anything. So at the moment, I'm just going to pop this onto some pink cards. So I've just got it here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put glue. So sorry, this is a paper, not a cardstock. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue all around the back of this, and I'm just going to put it straight onto my paper like that. Right up against the side and the top there, and then when I've glued that down, I'm going to cut right across very close to that edge there, so that the only thing you can see is the white edge and the coloured paper underneath. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. Alright, so I've cut that out around the outside there, so as you can see, it's right up against that white edging of the die, and I've just got that pink as a background there. So you could even do paper piecing with this as well. If you wanted to die cut out these middle pieces of this die, you could put the coloured pieces back in to give it some leaf colour. I just wanted to keep it pretty simple though, so alright, I've done that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of tape down one side of this, and I'm going to stick some of my muslin down. So Uniquely Creative do a really lovely muslin as well. It roughs up really, really well, and you get those sort of the spindly sort of thread look to it as well, which is great. So I've just put some tape on the back of that there, and I'm just going to grab my muslin, and I'm just going to give it a really good scrunch up, rub it through my hands, rip it out a bit, pull it apart, because we want it to look really shabby chic and just really roughed up like and messy. Okay, so I have made my card just a slightly bit wider than the actual die here, so when I pop this down, it's actually going to go right up against that left hand fold line, and I've got a little bit of a white edge along here. Okay, so that's where my muslin's going to go. So I'm just going to pull this out, flip over that again, and I'm just going to stick this down. So just a little bit of the muslin is showing out the outside of my die cut here. So you could ruffle that up a wee bit more if you wanted to. You could be really creative with that. So I just wanted it to be fairly plain. So I'm just going to cut the edges off here. And the top piece. Okay, so now I'm going to put some glue onto the back of this, and I'm going to glue it right up against that score line there. So all you can see is this side of the card with a bit of that muslin there. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down. Alright, so that's cut, that's now stuck down, and while that's stuck down, I'm just going to rough this up a wee bit more, just so it looks a bit messier along there. We don't want it too uniform. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, right, so I'll bring the card back in. So I've gone ahead and I've fussy cut out a lot of these little flowers. So these flowers come from this paper, and this is the Outback Divine paper from Uniquely Creative, which is a really, really gorgeous paper. So I've just cut out a few of the flowers and a few of the leaves. I think I cut out 7 flowers and 4 sets of leaves. So I've gone and done that already. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I've placed these onto my card. So I've just put these down, my leaves down first, and then I've just filled the gaps with whatever flowers I've got left over. So I'm just going to pop these down. Okay, so just now going to glue some of the flowers down. You could pop dot these up if you wanted to give them a 3D look. I'm just going to glue mine down just for the sake of the video because it's a bit quicker, but you could definitely go ahead and put some foam tape on the back of these and just have them popping up off your card there. So I've got a bit of a gap here, so I'm just going to pull that back a little bit and just have one of my flowers go underneath there. Actually, I might cut that down just a little bit, get rid of all that excess leaf. And I'm just going to pop that down underneath that leaf there. So here we go. Alright, so this one here, I'm going to cut that stalk off a little bit as well because we don't need all that. And I'm just going to pull that back a little bit, and I'm going to pop that under there as well. So I might have this one going a little bit more in a curve at the top there. There we go. Awesome, so there's our flowers. We've got a wee bit of a curve going on, which is quite nice. And then I have cut out, they have, Uniquely Creative also have a sheet of just sayings. So this one's one of their sheet there. So I've just cut out best wishes. And I'm just going to pop that down on the front of my card. So I'm just going to tuck it under a leaf there a little bit. So I'll just pop that on there like that. Alright, so I have a little bit of bling, if I can find that. Here it is. Now, these are just really, really tiny little ones. So I just wanted to jazz it up a little bit and give it a bit of pop of sparkle on there. So I've just popped a few of these in some of those more spacious parts on the card. You could put more on if you wanted to. I've just put a couple on there. Okay, so let's get to the inside of our card. So this is the inside here. So with whatever leftover pink paper you had, we're just going to cut that one down. So I've got it cut down to 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. And then I folded it in half long ways. So it's folding this way. Okay, so 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. Fold it long ways. And then just put some tape onto the back, or some glue onto the back of this here. Now I have put tape along that score line just because it needs to go on both sides of the card there. So I'm just going to pop that down. Now this, I haven't cut this to the same exact size as the card. I've left a little bit of a white gap down the bottom, and so that just gives us, let's come off there. That just gives us that little white gap along there. So this piece is just a little bit shorter than the length of my card. Alright, so I'm going to line up that middle score line of my paper with the middle score line of my card, and I'm going to have it hitting right up the top of my card so it's nice and flush at the top there. Okay, so it's nice and flush at the top, and we've got a bit of that white down the bottom, and we're just going to give it another fold in half. I might bring my bone folder in, and I'm just going to burnish that down a wee bit more just so it's nice and strong there. There we go. Okay, so that part's the inside. So what I want to do now is I didn't want just those blank edges there, so I went and got some of my baker's twine, which is that coloured stuff there, and I just put a strip of glue down each side, and I'm just going to carefully put some of the baker's twine in there. So this one's got a bit of a metallic look to it, which is really, really pretty for this card, but you can get all sorts of baker's twine there. So I'm just going to put that down into the glue there, so right along the edge, and it just finishes off the edge really nicely. So I'm just going to cut that off right down at the bottom of my pink paper there and get rid of that raggedy bit at the top. And I'm going to do the same down this side here. So another strip of glue all the way down this side here. It's where the tip of these glues come in really handy. They're so good like that. Right, so this one's going to go down that side there, and just again I'm just going to cut that off at the bottom of my pink piece there and trim it off at the top here. There we go. Alright, so that's just given us a really nice little edge along that plain paper there. So you can also do the same thing along here. I did do it on this one, so I have a bit of the twine down there. So again, I just put a bit of glue down there and just pop the twine into it. So, but since I've got my flowers on this one, I'm not going to worry about that today. Alright, so I've cut a piece of cardstock that measures 1 by 8 inches, and then I've scored it. Whoops, sorry. I've put the long side at the top of my trimmer, and I'm going to score it at 2, 4 and 6. So I'll bring my trimmer in and show you that. So this is my favourite trimmer. So this is the We Are Memory Keepers scoreboard. So I'm going to flip that over so that I've got that edge there again for my scoring, and I'm just going to put the long side at the top of the trimmer. I'm going to grab the bone folder that comes with it, and I'm going to score it at 2 inches, whoops, 4 inches, and 6 inches. Easy as that. So to cut again, we're going to put the scoreboard back down there again so that we can cut. Okay, so we now have these 3 score lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a valley fold first. So I've got glue all over my fingers. I'm going to do a valley fold first. So it's going to be a V, whoops, a V for valley. So there. And then we're going to do a mountain fold. So we've got that mountain peak there. So mountain fold. And then we're going to do another V for valley fold. So you actually end up with a W there. So we're just going to give those a good burnish down just so they're nice and straight. So burnish down all those folded edges there. Okay. So you've ended up with that. Goodness, I'm full fingers today. So we're going to put that as a W. Now I have also cut out another piece of paper there. So it's the same pink paper that I've used. I've cut this one to 7/8 of an inch by 7 7/8 of an inch. So it's going to be a fraction smaller than this piece here. So I'm just going to stick that down in the middle of that one so we have a little bit of a white border around it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fold on those score lines again. So just put this, fold this flat again. Okay, so it's just going to go right in the center there. And then I'm just going to fold on those score lines again so that we have our W back again, like that. So I'm just going to get my bone folder and burnish those down again, just to make sure they're nice and crisp. Here we go. Alright, so this is going to be the Z fold in our card, so this bit along here. So I'll just bring my other card back in. So I'm actually going to put a bit of glue just on the 2 end panels there. So these 2 end panels are the only things that get stuck down. The 2 middle ones we want to be able to move freely. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it down so it's going to be flat, fold my card flat, and I'm just going to line the middle score line up with the middle of my card, and then it's going to line up along the bottom of my pink paper there. Okay. Alright, so that's lining up there. So then we end up with that Z fold in the middle there. So when we close it, it doesn't come past the front of our card. Alright, so we've done that hard a bit. So whatever papers and of cut out stuff that you've got left, like I've cut out a few flowers and a few extra leaves, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to stick them on to my Z fold there. So this one's a wee bit long. I'm just going to cut that one down a wee bit, and I'm just going to glue along that bottom bit there. So that's going to go on my Z fold there. And now I'm just going to glue one of my flowers along the bottom of it. On there. And I have another leaf here that I'm going to put on, so I'm going to cut that one down just a little bit as well. Glue along the bottom again. And pop that one there. Bit more glue on the bottom of my other flower, just on the bottom, because this one's going to go a little bit up over the top of that Z fold there, like that. And then I'm just going to pop a couple of my little flowers down the bottom here, so I'm just going to put them along there like that. So these ones we can put glue all over because they're going flat on there, and this one as well. Just like that. Okay, so when we fold it up, all that folds inside your card, and you can't see anything on the outside there. So that's the front of the card. and the inside of our Z-fold card. Okay, so that's our card. Very, very simple one today, but it's a lot of fun to make. The Slimline cards, if you go onto YouTube or onto Pinterest, you can find so many different ideas for the Slimline cards. And they're a lot of fun to make. I'm a convert. Alright, so that's our card. Give it a try. Let us know how you feel about them on our Craft Amenities page. Show us your pictures if you've got any that you've done. We'd love to see what you guys do. So I hope you can join me next week for another card. Thanks everybody. Bye.